Hi, I'm Cody Klinger. I own CCXteriors. Today we're gonna torture shingles. We're going to rip them up and roll them up and crinkle them up and stretch them out, and we're gonna show you why we use Malarkey shingles. We are a roofing, siding, and gutter company, and we've found through the multiple jobs that we've done, Malarkey particularly holds quite a lot of the market for a reason. We're interested in showing you that so that you can make an educated decision in your shingle install. And that's basically why we're making this video. I hope you enjoy it. These are the two comparison shingles that we chose to do this test on. This right here is a 30-year architectural shingle from Tamko. This right here is a 30-year architectural shingle from Malarkey. We wanted to use the same weight or style of shingle that would be comparable. If you're going to compare something, you have to be apples to apples. 30-year to 30-year. Malarkey and Tamko both create products that are greater weight and have a longer longevity on your roof. This is called the Zone. We're gonna go over the Zone with you. This is a standard shingle design, standard shingle on the market. This is a Malarkey shingle, and we'll explain the Zone in a second. Something I wanted to point out, a couple things, is that the shingles both have this blue line here and this yellow line here. And if we line them up together, that yellow and blue line is basically on the same spot. We see that yellow line and that blue line is about the same place. The difference is that Malarkey has this top yellow line here. And this is important to see these differences, and I'll show you why in a second. We flip these shingles over and we can see, if you take a cross section of this shingle, that the backing, when you shoot a shingle, you're supposed to shoot through both the layers, this layer and that layer. And so the backing right here shows an area where you can shoot that's this wide, indicated by the yellow line on top and the yellow line on bottom. It's best to shoot pretty close to this yellow line here, but what Malarkey is saying is that you can shoot anywhere in this zone. And that's what this here is indicating. Anywhere in that zone, you will shoot this shingle through both layers, allowing it to get proper wind protection for use down the road. If you look at the Tamko shingle, it's going to resemble more of this shingle here. The back layer, or the bottom layer right here, is about that wide. And it's a significant difference. I hope this is kept getting picked up on camera, but this difference here is noted here on this Zone. The top of the bottom portion of the shingle it stops here. On the Malarkey, it goes up higher, as you can see. On this shingle, if you shoot anywhere high up here, you're not shooting the shingle through both layers and allowing for proper protection for the wind. Another reason why we'd recommend using Malarkey is it's actually already started to do it just by demonstrating. We'll have to get another shingle to demonstrate the roll test. We'll go into the roll test in a minute, but the back of this shingle right here, this portion of the shingle right here, does not taper. It's the same thickness as the normal portion of the shingle. It comes all the way up and remains the same thickness. Over time, as the sun beats down on this shingle, it pushes down on that portion. Go ahead and get a shot of this corner here. It pushes down on this portion and creates a little trough back here. This finds itself roughly right here on the shingle. As shingles are installed, they're installed like this, and I know this is a Malarkey shingle, but you can get the picture by seeing that as time goes on, this is going to trough. You can see that that's going to leave a trough here in this shingle on this portion. Over years to come, years and years to come, it's going to create a crack here and could leak in the future. Malarkey's response to this is this right here. Simply that they've tapered this bottom layer so that it tapers from full thickness all the way to basically as thin as they can make it without compromising the shingle strength. Owens Corning has tried to do things like the nail strip. We see that on the market, and maybe I can get an Owens Corning picture in this video for a demonstration to explain what they do. Owens Corning uses a Kevlar nail strip along here, But what we find that the problem with the Kevlar nail strip is this tar right here, this tab down tar, tabs down right here. So if there's a nail strip right here, you can basically pull the nail strip off. So if you can pull the nail strip off and that's where the tab down is happening, it's likely that it's gonna blow off in the wind as well. You're basically creating a little barrier between the tab down and the actual shingle itself. That's why I think that's flawed. Now we're gonna move into some of the roll tests and some of the stretch tests and more aggressive tests for these shingles. Right off the bat, just the construction of the shingle alone has created quite a significant pros toward Malarkey. And that's the purpose of this video, really, honestly, is to show the advancements of Malarkey in the shingle world as opposed to the rest of the world. I know this is only a Tamko. We could probably do this process with many different shingle manufacturers, but it stands. Going back to the zone, we wanted to explain a couple more things. The zone also, on the Malarkey side, protects against rain, and I'll explain how. On the standard shingle manufacturer, you have one bead line right here called the SEB line of tar that attaches the shim portion of the shingle, which is this back portion, to the main shingle. That one line, if water gets behind this, it will get behind this line. It only has one to get behind, and it's in. The other thing is that between shingles, when you overlap them, if water gets behind this portion, it's hard to explain. When shingles are lined up on top of their spots, it's true that water does sometimes get behind shingles. Malarkey has a lot better coverage in that area because of this second line here. Holds it down, makes it so that there's less chance the water will get behind the shingle because of these two SEB lines here on the shim. The shim is tapered. The shim is much larger at the top than the standard to create that zone nail strip. As you're going along and shooting shingles, they're going at a pretty good pace. They're going boom, 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 boom. And when they're shooting the shingles, you can imagine that as they're going across this really quickly, it's easy to hit this one. It's hard to hit this one. You have to hit that one exactly right there, about the width of my pinky. That's the same width there. So to kind of bring that into realization there, you have this whole portion above that you can shoot that will still hit and be a viable wind protection shot, right? When the shingle gets shot, it also penetrates the shingle. This line of tar above it and this line of tar below it protects that whole shingle from rain protection and penetration. Now for the stress tests. I'm excited about this part. This is the fun part. We get to rip up shingles. I'm gonna get prepared. I gotta get a knife. I gotta grab the shingles that have already been preparing out in the sun, getting warm. Again, we're trying to create an equals to equals test. So we need to use 30-year shingles against 30-year shingles to create the best test. Out here we have shingles that have been waiting in the sun. They're ready to be stressed and tested and ripped up and rolled up and crumpled. And then we actually also have some asphalt from Malarkey's factory that's been also setting out in the sun to warm up. This test works when it's cold. This test works when it's cold, but it works best when it's warm. We're gonna cut these shingles. These shingles have been sitting out in the sun. They're warm, they're ready to be rolled up and tortured. Okay, so we need to make equal sections to make this an even experiment. Okay, as you can tell on a new shingle, you're going to get granule loss, all very normal. We're going to clean this area off so that we can show the grain loss better. Malarkey, Tamko. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this shingle right here. You've already seen me cut it. We're going to roll it up as tight as I can. This roll has to be freaking tight as you can. Like you should have no room in there. As you can tell, we are both rolling as tight as the shingle can roll. Once you get to a certain point, it rolls up pretty simply. So he's rolling his up nice and tight. That's good. You can see that his roll is similar to my roll on both sides. Now, would you clean off this area here so that we can have a good demonstration? And we're going to try to keep as much of this as clean as possible. Okay, Tamko side, Malarkey side. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to unroll these, and we're going to pull as many grains off of this as possible. Really wrench into it and get them off there. I actually think I might be doing this harder. So before we accumulate the piles, you can see already the major difference between the two. This is Malarkey granule loss. This is Tamko granule loss. I'm going to use this cap to kind of gather up. The grain loss is significantly different between the two. This is Malarkey, that's Tamko. This happens because of the polymer modified asphalts that Malarkey puts into their product, but Tamko probably doesn't put into their product. I don't know exactly the system by which Tamko operates their asphalt. I do know the system by which Malarkey operates their asphalt. By the way, just to kind of give it credence, this is this year's asphalt, this is last year's asphalt. Both are going to act very similarly. This year's, of course, has its updated this year's advancements and will act much better. They are going to seem very similar. But if you would take this one here and open up the bag, and this has actually already been stretched before, and this test is showing the flexibility and the memory of this billet of asphalt. I've stretched this before and it's come back to its original shape. If you would come and zoom in here, there's a Malarkey clover on both of these here. And as you can see, this one has regained its shape, this one's regained its shape. This has also been stretched before. We're going to stretch these out. And then we're going to lay them down. So again, this is last year's and this year's. This right here is the a billet that has not been stretched yet. And I mean in this test. And as you can see, we still got a little ways to go. This billet has been stretched probably about 40 times with different clients. This is more new. As you can see the difference, this one's been worn out more than that one. I think we can see for the purposes of this video that Malarkey asphalt is superior than our competitor's asphalt. I hope that was informative and good for you to know for your future roof installation. If you have more questions or need anything further, you can always contact our office at 208-709-8496. We would love to do this shingle demonstration in front of you if you have any further questions or if you don't believe us. It's fun to show, fun to see. So I want to get a close-up on the Malarkey shingle itself. Not only did it roll back flatter, but it also retained its grains better. And maybe if we can get some of the lighting to show that. If you can see the difference in granules, this one retained its granules better by far. Now we're gonna crinkle up a shingle. We're gonna crinkle up a Malarkey shingle and a Tamko shingle with the remaining samples. These remaining samples, we're gonna make them the same size. We're gonna crinkle them up into a ball. After crinkling these up, you're gonna see that the Malarkey shingle is gonna regain its former structure. And this shingle probably won't. Because this is a really variable part of this process. About the same size, yeah. Drop it at the same height.